Hey, Farfella, how's it going? And welcome, sub. It's nice to have y'all back. Let me just put this in. Let's go. Let's go. And then all right. And that's taken care of. Welcome! Also, welcome, Warlord. It is very nice to be back on stream here with y'all. Sorry I'm late. There was an issue with eggs. Funny enough, that's actually why I'm late. Today's chapter is about eggs, and I had a problem with eggs this morning. I'm not late? Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was for a second. But yes, welcome, welcome. Uh, and thank you for joining me, your local crazy horse, uh, who who invites random people into his sound booth to try and figure out how characters sound like. Also, God, I just realized I have to realize what egg changeling sounds like. Ah! Oh, that goes like an hour of stream is just figuring out what egg changeling's gonna sound like. Oh, submerged wasn't first. I was. I mean, you're technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. My day, it's been pretty good so far. Got to sleep in, got to make breakfast, and was eating said breakfast as I was setting up stream. Oh, man. This is what happens when the night before you wait to put to grocery shop until the last second and you don't go to bed until like 2 hours after you usually go to sleep. But I got my coffee. No, I already consumed my coffee. I already consumed my coffee and I'm all ready to go. You stay in bed till 8? Yeah, I planned on getting up at 8. And then I just stayed in bed until like 9:30. And I was like, if I want to eat anything before stream without delaying stream another hour, I better get going. I was still 20 minutes late. Stayed in bed until 8 after staying up until 1. Yeah, no, that's how it goes. Oh, that's a nice long sleep though. Like, I mean, yeah, 7 hours. That's pretty good. I also slept for about 7 hours. Which reminds me, my watch is dead. Actually, no. I thought you died. Where did you get 28% on you? Have you just not been charging this whole time? Anyway, uh, yeah. So, crap. No, shush. There we go. Ha. Gosh, I just also realized I never checked to make sure that my sound was working until now. I'm so glad it did. Oh crap, where's my backup chat? Backup chat! Save me! Come on, backup chat. Hey, backup chat! Let's go. Why? Backup chat, why are you like this? There. I mean, you need to be a little bit smaller. Karma, welcome! Welcome to the stream. Ignore backup chat because regular chat's not working right now because honestly I have no idea. I might have to find another way to look at chat. Yes, welcome, Karma. We are today's chapter is egg changeling, which, I definitely didn't try and emulate by having issues cooking eggs this morning. Not at all. And I've only been cooking eggs for 20 years. And I somehow messed it up today. You have a new job started last week. Oh, yeah. How's that going for you, by the way? I know night shift isn't for everyone. I personally really enjoyed night shift until it became like, well, until it became a thing where I just didn't really do anything outside of work. So even though I worked less hours, it felt like I was working 12-hour days anyway. Which, funny enough, now that I work 11-hour days, 5 to 6 days a week, I have more time. I don't know how this works. I, oh, man. No idea how that's supposed to go down, but that's the way it did. You're tired? Been trying to adjust sleep schedule? Welcome back, Farfella. Except till 2 last night, so I just woke up. Honestly, yeah, that's kind of the best you can hope for with night shift like that. Uh, I remember most nights I would get home at like 1, and then I'd stay up till like 4, and then not wake up until like 2 in the afternoon. So I completely understand where you're coming from in that. It sucks. Uh, I feel like night shift's only a good shift when you're like working, or when you're working like a active physical job. So that way, when you come home at the end of the night, you can just pass right out. If you're doing like desk work at night, it just wrecks you. Welcome, Seth. I am the best Metal Gear Solid player because Seth can never sneak in unnoticed. I say, having never played Metal Gear ever, or most video games. But anyway, sorry, about 3 weeks ago, work 9 to 7:30. Ooh, 9 to 7:30 is a rough shift. The latest, the latest I ever got to go into work is at 4, and that's was for Domino's. It was because of shift change reasons before the rush happened, and for the IRS, that's just when they had us scheduled, and it was 4 to like 12:30. At Domino's, I worked until like 3 or 4 in the morning every single day. Guess that's how long it took to clean the store. At the IRS, I just stayed up until 6 or 8 because I could not wind down. I was so mentally exhausted but physically awake. I just couldn't get to sleep. I bet now I might be able to do something with that now that I'm, not suffocating in my sleep anymore, which is great. Makes it so I can wake up and do these streams. And that, funny enough, the when I started doing these streams is when I suddenly not was when I suddenly stopped suffocating in my sleep. Weird how things like energy happens in the morning when you're uh, not slightly waking up every night. Best Joker line. I am crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS? No, thank you. Oh man, literally the IRS is just a bunch of pencil pushers. It's so funny how everyone has a fear of the IRS, and then 99% of them, their only job is to process forms, and they have nothing to do with anything else other than, hey, here's 3 forms that you need to know intricately inside and out, and just see whether or not they pass. especially since the area that I was working in, um, the entity department, I just updated people's accounts all the time. Where it's like, oh, you change your name. Oh, you change your address. Oh, now you have a new required filing form because you elected to do that. Or, no, you cannot be this entity because you're a sole proprietor and not an LLC or a corporation. Please file with the state. Hey, it worked! It's finally working again! Oh, thank goodness. Hold on. Sorry, I don't know why my main chat. It's weird. My main chat box, uh, just for no reason, just just doesn't start immediately, and so I have backup chat until main chat can take over because I like the look of main chat better than the look of backup chat, and I can't fine tune backup chat to look like main chat. I especially like main chat because it gives everyone different colors, whereas any other chat looking is like you can have one color for every single person in your chat, and I'm like, but I don't want to. I want them to all have a rainbow. New contender. Oh, honey, you haven't been here long enough if you think that's the top contender for Scuff Queen. No, the scuffest stream, I believe, was the stream where I talked for like 45 minutes and people in chat were saying things but no one told me they couldn't hear me the entire time. That was a bit of a scuff screen. And then as soon as I fixed the mic issue, like, I think Audacity crashed on me. that was that was the most scuff stream, I have to say. Or even better, after all of that happened, I then got a call from my boss saying, "Hey, so and so called out. Can you please come in?" And I was like, fine. And so I had to stop stream after literally nothing happened the entire time, and then I went to work. That was the scuffest stream. I don't even know if it's on the in the playlist. Idle Hooves Super Spies. Posing as a father while keeping tabs on a few person of interest, he winds up meeting Topaz and Assassin. Neither of them are aware of it, and the girl Idlehead can hear thoughts. They should have sent your boss the link saying you're busy. My boss was my roommate at the time. I think he was. This was a few years ago, and uh, had my boss, great dude. That's why I moved in with him. Uh, I think he was like with like family. He was like a family thing, and so I'm like, he if he wanted to do it, he would just if he was able to do it, he would jump in, and I was like physically able to do it real quick, so I just decided to do it. Come to find out later, he was just hoping that I wouldn't respond, so he could tell the manager that was trying to call out, saying, "No one's available to to take your shift." The thing is that it's not that the other manager was trying to call out; it's that he was at work, and then he wanted to go home, and it was a Sunday night, and so it's like one of the easiest close days that we had, and he had two people. So he could have finished, but he wanted to call out. So at that point, that was like one of the many things that led to me being like, yeah, I don't want to be a manager anymore. I just kind of like being a little cog in the machine where I could easily be replaced and know about it, because then I don't have to worry about, oh, I don't have to worry about calling in and that affecting like 1,000 other people. Well, the less I learned is that uh, there are some times when to step up. Wait, wait for other people to step up, and then if your boss asks you directly, that's when you know. Oh, well, okay. So with that boss in particular, I would trust him to be able to only ask me to come in if he actually needed me to come in. Other bosses, not quite sure. Like if my because now my one of my bosses is my brother, so I'll trust my brother. In fact, that's probably why I'm on time for work so often nowadays, is because I know that if I call in or some shit, he's going to have to deal with the fallout and he'll give me shit for it when I see him on the weekends. Oh, man. I don't know how I keep on finding bosses that are either family or friends. It just keeps on happening. And the few times that hasn't happened, I just don't like him at all. That was all my bosses at the IRS, except for my first manager. My first manager at the IRS was great, and then she got a different position somewhere else, and then the other ones after that were either didn't know what they were doing, so like kind of status quo stayed the same, or one would wander around and just be a mother hen or a helicopter manager the entire time, and that annoyed the hell out of me. He had me written up because I went on my break to go to another section and give one of my friends one of his favorite cookies, because I heard he was having a rough time. That friend pulled me into a conversation. I came back 5 minutes late, and I got written up for it, despite being in the building near my desk. And I was one of the fastest people in our unit. Gosh, that sucked. That one of the reasons why I left the IRS. heard I heard somewhere, but I don't remember where, a guy was supposed to work on a day. They had intended to go to some event. They had tickets, so they just called in sick and went. Oh, is this the one where like he got into the newspaper and and then his uh, or something like that? So his boss found out. Either that or he ran into ran into the manager. I saw one where the guy got into the newspaper for one thing or another so that they could call him out on his bullshit. Anyway, why are we talking about work? I don't know how we got on this subject. Oh, right. Uh, I do remember now. But yes, enough about work. It is my one weekend this week. Thankfully, I only work 5 days next week. The last 2 weeks I worked six, and this is my 1 day weekend before I get to work another five. Let's go! I don't mind working six because uh, Saturday work, it's only going to be like 9 hours and 8 9 hours instead of 11. So it's a nice short day, and then I get paid like an extra $150 for it. So it's not bad, not bad at all. Well, depending. I only make commission, not hourly wage. Anyway, let's go. Let's go right back into. Oh, I did want to ask all y'all now that y'all are here. What did you think of the new editing? um, uh, what did you think of the new editing on the most recent chapter? Because I edited it, found it great, threw it into uh, my video editor, DaVinci, which also has its own audio editor, and I'm like, I'm going to poke around in here, played around with a few settings, liked it even better, and then just exported it. But I'm curious, what do people think that weren't listening to the same audio for like the last 4 or 5 hours before that point? Better, worse, kind of the same? Did you like the Discord voice? Um, Sounds like you don't like it. So I'm going to. Hey, no, I do like it. I just want to know if it sounds too different from what I normally do, or even if not different, does it sound like a little bit better and whatnot? Because the editing in there is pretty quick and painless. It's not going to be my main audio editor. That's still going to be um, that's still going to be Audacity. Just like maybe final touch ups uh, in DaVinci. But I'm not sure. You haven't listened to those chapters, I'm hurt. You haven't even heard the new effect I did for the Discord voice. Oh, by the by, did you see my suggesting in Discord of an idol who is the Tree of Harmony? Honestly, I can't see Idol as the Tree of Harmony because he is a character of order, and harmony and order oppose, uh, kind of oppose each other. Well, not oppose. It's just harmony is order and chaos in harmony, whereas order is just taken to a too extreme. It'd be more interesting if Idol was more like Destiny, or yeah, more of a Destiny type of character. Can you tell I've been getting a lot of clips of Sandman? I think he would make a cool Destiny like character, especially the fact of he doesn't control people's fates. He's Destiny is defined by your own actions. I think that's a pretty funny way to do it. I and also I will say I swear I'm not making this up, but I did create a character. I had a idea for a character. I've talked about them on stream before, the archive, but the character has a book chained to his wrist, and in that book contains like this all the collective knowledge of like what the archives gathered, and it's chained to his wrist because that's kind of what allows him to be alive still. It's his life force, it's his mana pool and whatnot. So it's kind of his greatest asset, also, but also his greatest weakness. And I didn't base him off of Destiny's character at all. But there are a few people that I describe the look of him, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Destiny." I'm from Sandman. I'm like, I can see why you're making that comparison, but I swear it's by complete accident. The tree got bored after many, many years to create portal for us and named it's hell of a prank to her. Yeah, like I said, I don't see Idol as a force of harmony. Uh, because like the best part of Idol is that he doesn't like getting involved. He's just constantly forced to be involved in things. He would much rather if his life is boring, but the universe will not let him do that. Uh, so Idle as the Tree of Harmony, it the Tree of Harmony plays too much of an more active role in the story for Idol to feel like he could actually uh, for like Idol to actually be a part of it. Like, granted, Idol could be a half of order and Discord be like half of chaos, but I don't think the Tree of Harmony itself would make a pony that was just only order. Everyone, everyone calls it the Tree of Harmony, but is it really? Well, yeah, kind of. Because harmony is just the balance of things. Looks at the sequel series to the Mistborn. I haven't finished it, but it's good. I just need to get past a certain scene in the second book, and then I'll probably finish reading the whole thing. Same with Name of the Wind and Stormlight. Eh, there's a lot of there's a lot of books I stopped reading because I had issue with one scene because TV tropes ruined my life. We're going to the park and you'll like it. Upon deliverance of my exoskeleton, that can be arranged. But no, like, um, but yeah, the Tree of Harmony, it takes a very active role in the story, and yes, it's a prankster, and might be sadistic to a certain point. I haven't actually watched much past season 6, but from some of the clips I've seen, it seems to be a little bit insane. It has good intentions, though. But like that's why I kind of like the idea of the Tree of Harmony being my headcanon for the Everfree Forest is that it's there to uh, protect the Tree of Harmony, or it's the influence of the Tree of Harmony on the world around it. Because ponies kind of fall more, are leaning more towards order than they are true harmony by like controlling the weather, the plants, the animals, all that stuff. So it creates a natural barrier to it by just subtly influencing the world around it, where uh, uh, clouds move, plants take care of themselves all on their own. Nature, that's harmony, order, chaos, life, death, all that works in a balanced ecosystem. That doesn't happen with the ponies. They want things to happen in a set way. Whether that happens, yeah, no, they try. But the Everfree itself is just an extension of harmony itself, which is why I think har- uh, harmony being weakened by the plunder vines is a great explanation for why the Everfree Force is so much more um, dangerous in the first few seasons. And then after the plunder vines get removed and the elements return to the tree, it becomes a much more tamed experience for everyone involved, to the point where they just take casual trips through it and nothing happens. Like, Twilight's not getting stoned in there or getting chased by Timberwolves or anything like that. It's just simple, hey, now that Harmony has been, like, restored to its former glory, the forest can actually just, like, not be influenced by those chaotic magics anymore. And true harmony of nature is restored, where things can happen, but generally things are pretty chill. Harmony is not the control of everything. So the elf deer were right all along. Exactly. Like that's I mean, yeah, that's what I liked about Harmony uh being a basis for the show, because yeah, that's great. The ponies, they are harmonious amongst themselves, but they're not really harmonious with their environment. which is why I think one of my first characters in this fandom was a forest spirit, because the forest, in and of itself, is harmonious because everything's just allowed to go about on its own and the forces balance each other out. And the ponies hate that because they want to have control over their environment because of the great magics they were given, but they are continuously repelled by the forest of any actions to attempt to tame it, because harmony itself resists that control that ponies want to have over their environment, as well as Discord's chaotic magic, leading the force to become a little more harrowing to actually like go into itself. And I hope that's like something that might get explored in There's Something About Mary, if that ever comes, if another chapter ever comes to that story. Rip, There's Something About Mary. So, Headcan did create Discord for keeping balance. It just has other ideas, or did at first. You know, I saw this one headcanon for Discord, and I thought it was fantastic. Basically, ponies are so powerful that whenever something bad happened, they blame Discord, and by them having that boogeyman of Discord in the background, they actually manifested by their collective imagination the being of chaos and disharmony. Like, he didn't actually exist until the ponies willed it into existence to have someone to blame, to have someone be a scapegoat. And I'm like, oh, that is brilliant. That is so good. And that's why he was so malicious at first. Welcome, Dodo. Welcome. They pulled a. Why? Oh gosh. Haruhia Suzumiya. Harura Suzumiya. I I can barely read English. I don't know why I even try at reading other languages. Welcome, Pensive. Eggs? Yes, eggs. This is this is the first introduction of egg changeling. Eggling, if you will. She is a girl with the power to alter reality, but does not know she has it, or does it? Interesting. Yeah, kind of, but instead of just one person, it's the entire collective subconscious that did it instead. Which I'm like, ooh, that's a great idea that like could explain a lot of other things. Or even like it could explain why ponies fear the Everfree Forest in the first season so much, is because the whole town of Ponyville know how dangerous they've heard rumors of how dangerous the forest is, so they're able to influence it to become more dangerous, and it's just a recursive loop. Whereas once they've purged it, and their fellow heroines and their friendly local zebra can just traipse in and out of the forest with no problem, and now creates a different feedback loop to make the forest more tame. I have lots of headcanons about the Everfree Forest. It's such a great area that's woefully unexplored in canon. uh, Another cool concept I saw was a truth potion, which doesn't make you tell the truth, it just makes whatever you say while under it retroactively true and always has been. It's a literal retcon potion. And for anyone drinking it, they'll just be telling the truth. But any being that can see the higher dimensions, they'll know. They'll know history has just been changed, uh, just to suit the potion teller's needs. And yeah, there's a lot of headcanons that I have that don't necessarily simultaneously exist in the same headcanon. I just really enjoy certain headcanons, and I'm like, I can't pick between my favorite children. So they're all canon. Like that one series that I've been slowly but surely editing uh, typesetting for. Uh, the Savage Sky series by Morgira. Great series. I love the idea of uh, pony magic taken to the extreme and implemented into pony martial arts, where uh, if you have an earth pony who's proficient in this, uh, the earth hates you. If you have a Pegasus, uh, use it, the sky hates you. Or if Unicorn hates it, Arc the Arcana itself hates you, and they basically stopped any wars from sprouting in Equestria between the different factions by just simple mutually assured destruction. Everyone would destroy everything. If if any of these masters went to war with each other. Welcome, Quap. It's been a while. I love how it says Rick versus Evil Doctor Manhattan. Evil Doctor Man. I mean, it's not wrong, but it's funny. 20 to 50% of a forest above the ground? Oh, 100%. I totally agree. I bet, like, you have a lot of mycelium down there, you have burrowing creatures. Like, there's a lot of plant life, and there's a lot of fauna and flora underneath the forest floor. It's just people don't notice it. They just notice, oh, the trees and the flowers and bushes. And they don't think about, oh man, what's going on underneath to make these so prolific? They're almost like they're a giant organism in and of itself. I've always wondered where the mirror pool came from. You know, I haven't heard of a good explanation for the mirror pool. I think it's kind of like one of those most oft forgotten things because it only showed up in one episode. Rootweilers. Oh my gosh. I love that pun so much. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, mirror pool. You know what? I have an idea for the mirror pool. It's an early experimentation by Starsworld because it's in the Everfree Forest where Starsworld lived, and Starsworld's the only one that we know of that has great connections with mirrors and mirror magic, like with the Equestria girls. So it could be one of his early experiments. Wonder what happened if Idle fell into the mirror pool. Honestly, I nothing would happen because, like, according to like that episode, you don't fall into the mirror pool and it will create something. You have to uh you have to sing that little rhyme in order to create something from the pool. Like, it's a magic incantation. And it being a way to link worlds, and you're basically you're not creating clones, you're just pulling yourself from different realities. That could be interesting. That's an interesting way to take it. I absolutely, honestly, I loved the headcanon that Discord was Starsworld after performing dangerous magics. And now I was thinking about it more last night, and I thought of a way to make that headcanon true, as well as keep the original the original canon of the story intact. Stars World had a clone that they would either work together in his tower to create new magics, or if Stars World had to be called to help out with the Pillars of Harmony, one could say and one could continue his research until one day Stars World never came back from Ponehenge after trapping uh, the Heart of Darkness, the Pony of Shadows, and in an attempt to bring him back, shattered dimensions and turned himself into Discord, going mad in the process. Uh, like there's a reason why I can't write stories, because I love too many creation ideas of either Discord, the Everfree Forest, or Changelings, and they don't coexist with each other. They cannot coexist with each other, so I can't decide on my own canon. I always loathe how Twilight and Friends handled the clones. It could have gotten irreparably wrong. Oh, exactly. There's so many things about that test that made it seem like the made it seem like they were just bad friends. Honestly, giving an ADHD person a thing of stare at paint dry, terrible. Also, you obviously don't know your friend at all to see that the depressed clone is the depressed quote unquote clone is the real Pinky, because she's the only one that's showing other emotions other than fun, fun, fun. Gosh, like, and it just kind of proves that while Pinky is friends with everyone in town, like, like no one like was friends with her, and that's just kind of sad. Thankfully, they fixed that later on in the seasons, but that I don't like watching that episode, because it's just I just feel bad for Pinky the entire time. I love however, how canonically some of the clones escaped are facts still around. Oh, 100%. I do love that little callback that there's still Pinky clones that escaped the massacre. Uh, Also, why is there a spell to send the clones back, but it could actually work on living beings as well? Like, what happens if you send a leave if you what happens if you send a non-clone back to the mirror pool? Like, if she accidentally used that on Discord, would Discord be forced to go back to the mirror pool, despite not being a clone in and of themselves, at least canonically? Like, that's such a dangerous spell to have. Why is that just in a random book, Twilight? Like, I I don't understand the logistics of having such a spell to instantly get rid of something, which actually kind of makes it seem like it's even further connected to Star Swirl, because Star Swirl just loves just sending his problems to another universe. See the sirens, and it's like, well, that's taken care of. They'd get a little wet and be annoyed. But the thing is that that's not true, because that's why they created the test in the first place. Because if they accidentally zap the real Pinky, then then Pinky gets sent back to the mirror pool, and it's not mirror pool like, oh, they get wet. No, they'll literally just be sent back to whatever dimension the mirror pool's pulling all these clones out of. Like, it's such a terrible spell. The bat situation was also badly handled. Yeah, no. I love how every time Twilight's like, magic can fix it. Oh no, it all went wrong. It's a continual theme. I read a story from that clone's point of view. She gets mistaken as a changeling that can't transform but joins them to get revenge. She is so messed up from that event that she becomes somewhat evil. I mean, honestly, wouldn't you? Like, the Pinky clone that happened to be at the diner with that interview, gosh, I'd be so terrified. I would get PTSD from hearing that some of the people that were involved in the murder of all the people that looked like me except for the one they liked. Gosh, I would have like moved to a different country at that point. Add to the fact that AJ and friends use Heart Song Match pressure Fluttershy to act in a way that counter to her feelings. Yeah, honestly, Bats, it could have been handled better, but I'm not sure in what way it could have been handled better. Like, on one hand, you kind of have to trust the animal expert to know how animals behave. On the other hand, you can't just ask a farmer to say, to give up part of their fields to these bats because they possibly maybe could help grow stronger and better apple trees because you know your your livelihood rests on the profitability of you selling stuff. Welcome, Iconic. Welcome. Yeah, we're discussing how bad Twilight and Friends are to either Pinkie Pie or they just continually uh, do the worst thing in any given situation. They're eating me out of my home. Think of the bats. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt going through the entire episode. I'm not a farmer, but my grandpa was, and my mom grew up on that farm. So if someone came around saying to my grandpa, uh, hey, no, in order to get rid of this infestation, we're going to need you to give up some of your fields of sugar beets in order to handle it. And maybe possibly in the future, we're pretty sure this will happen. Your beets in that area will produce more. What? What farmer would take that? They'd be more like, nah, let's get the exterminator out here, or they would just go out with a shotgun until it got taken care of. Apple Bloom, go get my shovel. So pain convo, I don't know what a pain convo is, but I can kind of guess at it. Uh, and like it happens again, where Applejack ignores Fluttershy the entire with the Kierans. Applejack ignores Fluttershy the entire time, and she just wants to get done with it. And Fluttershy actually wants to find out what the problem is, and then they almost get River to silenced. And I'm like, what? Applejack, you need to listen to your friend sometimes. She might have some good points, especially when it comes to animals. Like, as in an equestrian world where animals do have their own magic, you can kind of see why having an animal expert like Fluttershy might be really good to like solve issues. But in the episode, the bats were still shown to be like very rude and aggressive. Like they made them look cuter in later episodes, but that episode specifically, they're like, nah, nah, we're just going to be like, yeah, they might actually be assholes, but we're still going to have you root for them because it's Fluttershy. Funny thing is, Fluttershy really wanted to. She could become a hell of a spy. Oh, absolutely. Like, any animal would instantly be a spy for you. Even, like, ants in the walls. Like, that's a terrifying thought. Because animals can get everywhere. There was actually a conversation that I listened to on stream where someone's complaining, how could they never get rid of rats on a boat? They got rid of it in an entire province of Canada, but months at sea and they couldn't get rid of all the rats? As an exterminator, rats are very difficult to get rid of. Even like, granted, that's with like fields and whatnot, but with a fully enclosed house, they are entirely hard to get rid of, and people are like, uh, people are countering them all the time, being like, "Oh yeah, they just hide in the walls. They're in the walls." It's true. It's true. Any small hiding space, as long as it has the hole the size of a dime, they can fit their whole body into it. People don't understand rats, and also, they are incredibly intelligent. They actually have poison checkers. Ratatouille was not wrong. They actually send a sacrificial mouse to test a new food source, and if it dies too quick, they'll start avoiding that food source. Oh gosh, I have a headache. Oh man. Yeah, 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 with rats and everything, people just don't understand how much of a pain it can get rid of. The reason why Alberta's a province that has no rats in it is because rats weren't already there. They just like pretty much strictly is like, no, we're not going to allow anyone to accidentally import a breeding population into Alberta, and that's why it's one of the few places left on Earth that doesn't have a rat population in it. Then you have rats who are smart enough to learn how to trigger traps and get food safely. Exactly, exactly. Or even with snap traps, if rats keep on disappearing when they go on scouting missions in that direction, they'll just stop sending them in that direction. They're fascinating, which is why the bait that my company uses is so slow that they deem it safe, and then they all die off in like a week rather than a couple of days. People don't like that it takes a couple of days, but the counterintuitive thing about pest control, except for a handful of pests, you want to kill them as slowly as possible. That's why people keep them. Yeah, they're adorable. I hate killing them, but they're invading people's homes and they don't like them. So I unfortunately have to. I had to do it to them. I also kept rats as a kid. Honestly, I had rats as a kid is a bit of a misnomer. My brother had rats, and then when my brother went to college, I inherited his rats, so they were my rats. Yeah, it's yeah. Rats are incredibly intelligent. And anyone says they're just like dumb animals has no idea what karma or what Murphy is going to bring down upon them. I remember Billy the Exterminator, who was less exterminator, more relocator. That's the thing, though, is that it's hard to relocate an entire population. You'd also have to relocate them miles away, or else they'll just find their way back into your house. And they so much of the colony lives in your walls that you can't that if you have a breeding population in your house, you cannot get rid of it. You, the only way to get rid of it is by poison because there are some rats that don't even leave the colony. It's weird. Like they're literally like tiny human colonies. Some go out and scavenge for food, but most are homebodies. Funny enough, I did not rename the rats. They were still called Trixie and Charlie. Trixie was his albino one, and Charlie was white and brown. They were adorable, and I loved them. Although I know that I and I would probably have them again or fish if I didn't feel bad about leaving them alone for most of the day while at work. It's also one of the reasons why I don't have a dog because I just feel bad about leaving it at home all day. All right, time to go out and do your business for the 4 hours that I have left of the day. All right, good night. And then the same thing happens again the next. I feel so bad about keeping a dog or like just any animal. Like fish, they might get used to. They'll probably not mind if I'm not there all day. But any sort of mammal, yeah, they would absolutely miss me. Anyway, gosh, I've been talking about uh, previous jobs and current jobs and headcanons for almost an hour. That's how these streams go, I guess. And I haven't even gone to the eggs yet. Oh yeah, bees, they're super easy to relocate. You just have to find the queen. Most people most people have issues with yellow jackets, wasps, hornets. Fun fact, there is like no difference between a yellow jacket, a hornet, or a wasp. There, it all depends on their nesting behaviors. Like that's the only difference between those three. Other their nesting behaviors and their flying behaviors. Um, but they all kind of die to the same poison, so it doesn't really matter. Yellow jackets, yellow jackets are the weird ones because they are subterranean. They're a subterranean species. They will if you have what looks like a giant anthole, uh, and you're and there's wasp, and you have what look like wasps in your yard. No, you have yellow jackets. They are in that anthole, and they are just building a nest completely underground. And you have to have specialized chemical that will latch onto them so they bring it into the hive with them and kills it. Unless you want to just rip open your ground, but that's not fun. Especially when you have a bunch of angry hornets, when you have a bunch of angry yellow jackets on you. And hornets are more of like the paper, they look like the classic wasp hive from cartoons, covered in like paper, look like paper almost, and they just look scary. That's a hornet. And wasps are the ones with open honeycomb, the open comb on the side of your house. That's a wasp nest. Yeah, that's really the only difference between them. And they practically all die the same thing. Although if you have yellow jackets, you have to change it up a little bit. Welcome V. The new FF4 movie was solved. I don't know what FF4. Hold on. Oh, Fantastic Four. Oh, I've never heard of it called being Fantastic Four. Or I have no idea. I've never heard of it being called FF4. I haven't seen that. I've also heard it's good. I did go see the new Superman movie on for Friday, and that was great. Honestly, I love the almost 80s Superman TV series style that they had with it. Uh, like even down to like the font choice for the movie. I'm like, that's just 80s right there. That just screams 80s Superman. Dodos functionally had no predators, so something as simple as rats could just eat until they were too fat to. Exactly. I hear FF4 and I think Final Fantasy 4. Honestly, I thought the same thing too. Um, yeah, I also thought you were talking about Final Fantasy 4, and I'm like, I didn't know they made a Final Fantasy 4 movie. Honestly, I do have the Final Fantasy VII movie right behind me. That I remember watching that as a kid, and funny enough, my brother had a PS Vita. No, not Vita. PSP. He had a PSP, and he had one of the things that he had on there was the Final Fantasy VII Children of Avalon, I want to say is the name of it. He had that as one of the games on it, and we all thought that was so cool, having something that small. I never played on it because it was his, and he played it until it broke. This is why I didn't never got into video games, because all the consoles we had as kids, all the older siblings got a hold of it, and I wasn't allowed to play, so I didn't get to practice any skills playing games. Advent Children, probably. Looked cool as hell. Yeah, and looking back on it, it looks super. It still looks pretty cool, but you can tell the graphics were super dated, especially when they had like the very, like Gaussian glow to everyone's skin tones to cover up how bad like CGI was back then. V-Drake, shut up! You just don't get it. Hardcore fan screams. Yeah, that's good. You know, I did have an idea for a sci-fi story not too long ago, and I don't know how like what to do to like build it into an actual story, but it makes an interesting concept. So you know how like in the future, in like every single sci-fi thing, apart from a handful of them, where you have like these AIs that control the ship, and like usually the captain like has a very friendly relation, a very casual, friendly relationship with the AI. Typically, um, I'm trying to think of of a story that does it, but the only thing that comes to mind is Halo. But it's not with the captain; it's with Master Chief. But that's besides the point. Just do what we all did: piggyback from Changeling of the Guard. uh, oh man, I mean I could, but Idol's not really fit for a sci-fi setting. Anyway, so what I had the idea was that like that's still all the same. They're all like the captain's like really chatty with like the ship's AI. They poke fun at each other. It's great. It's casual. It's just fun sci-fi. It's just fun sci-fi tropes at that point. Turns out that unbeknownst to everyone, the AI in ships aren't AI. They're just augmented humans, and it's like a state secret that no one can find out for one reason or another. Uh, no one can find out about at all, and so they just see like the ship's like AI core maintainer. They just see him go into the AI core at like the beginning of the journey, and then they don't see him until he comes back out because he's all hooked into the ship systems, and he's augmented so he can is able to monitor all things across the ship, and he's basically in a coma for like the entirety of the ship to help it move, light jump, all those things. And it's not known by anyone. And this AI core maintainer always has like at least two armed guards with him at all times because oh yeah, the AI in these ships are so advanced that everyone just assumes yeah, they're so advanced that no one can that the government definitely doesn't want anyone getting their hands on it at all. Like state secret stuff, so no one interacts with the guy. They just know that he just pretty much lives in that space, and that he's always has an armed escort, probably to make sure no one kidnaps him for his knowledge on how to maintain the core. for 40K moment. I know it's something right out of 40K, except the psychers in 40K. Everyone knows that the psychers exist, and that they power the ship's engines. No one knows that these people exist in the ship's engines. Uh, and it's probably because humanity, they probably could make an AI to do all this stuff, but they don't trust an AI to do all this thing. So they are just like, you know what? Humans are all we need for this. So instead of a giant computer core, you basically have a tank where you can overclock a person's brain and they just control the ship. And a weird byproduct of the augmentation that these engines go through is that they live far longer lives than the crew around them. Uh, and so anytime a a one of these core engineers, anytime that they are getting to an age where it'd be suspicious if they didn't if they didn't grow old, they would be swapped with a new thing. They would get swapped with different ships, and that just happens across the entirety of Earth's fleet. Winds up on a spaceship that's in the shape of a train. What do you transform? I am hooked into all the mechanisms of the ship. We are capable of space travel, mining platforms, exploration, combat, and pleasure. While Chaser slams the last button. Yeah, doll. I can't manifest. Shut up. Speak to me like a real pony. I like your wings. Yes. But yeah, so like I can't remember if my idea is more that the human controls all the operations of the ship, or if there's actually like AIs that do control certain parts of it, and he's more like an overseer, and he's like the person that everyone can talks to directly and translates those commands to the very simple AIs because humanity just can't build anything better. Perfect a combination of uh, humans are too stupid to use AI properly, and the AI would just get too confused. So let's have a person that's fluent in AI be a translator. Riding on a space yacht with a look of immense disappointment. Oh, that's a good one. But yeah, and then like maybe the story has like a cold, like either a cold open or something happens where the ship is being attacked and gets boarded, and as everyone's trying to uh, get off the like abandoned ship's already been called, and everyone's trying to evacuate the and one of the captain's responsibilities is to make sure the core engineer uh, gets the hell out of there as well. That's one of his responsibilities, and he sees the guy running out with his two armed guards behind him, briefcase chained to his wrist, because that's what like the government's like. Yeah, the AI core is something that can fit into the size of a briefcase, and it's the sole responsibility of this guy. And, like that's the lie that they plant. And so he's running, trying to keep this safe. Well, both of his guards somehow die. I don't know. They're just there for fodder at this point. And the the core engineer and the captain uh, escape, or while they're running through the ship, they have to like access the computer systems, which they're having a hard time doing because the AI's been taken out of the core by this guy. So the guy has to like almost jack into these terminals to get the systems to work to kind of like save themselves. And like one of the things that happens throughout the story is that the captain eventually figures out like, oh, this is the guy that this guy is the AI and whatnot. Honestly, I have no idea where to take this story concept. I just thought it was a very interesting way of doing. Oh, hey, uh, what if humans can't figure out space travel with AI, so we just use it with humans instead? Because we can't build AI smart enough. I am stuffed in a tunnel that I cannot mind. This is vexing. Yeah, that would be very vexing for Idle, wouldn't it? But yeah, so like space fleet, like military or scientific ships, like that's that kind of thing. Like there wouldn't be any like personal craft except for like high priority people, like very much an Earth still in like a very early version of space travel. If it appears you're trying to hack my systems, would you like to be shown the airlock? It is too late for that. Thank you. Please do not come again. Idle would make for a very fun AI voice bot because his speech patterns kind of already fit that um, design. Idle in a Mass Effect setting. I don't know enough about Mass Effect to make jokes about Mass Effect, other than the three different colored beams that everyone was super mad at the end of Mass Effect 3. That and the suspiciously long elevator rides. Those are like the two things I know about Mass Effect. Mass Effect as in the game. Oh, I know it's a game. I've just never played it or watched anyone play it. Like that's the thing is like that's why I only know those two things is because those are the things people talk about the most from it is the quote unquote terrible ending in Mass Effect 3 and how elevators are used to hide load times, but load times are so long that people just joke about how long the elevator rides are. It's not quote unquote terrible, it's actually bad. Oh man. But yeah, I'm a huge sci-fi nerd, especially hard sci-fi. So that's why I really love to hammer out. So like one my favorite book being Project Hail Mary. I can't wait for that to become a movie, with how good the original movie was, or with how good the Martian was. So I have all the hopes and fear that comes from a beloved book getting turned into a movie. But Andy Weir seems to be on his game, so hopefully it doesn't turn out into a disaster. I hope they do that book justice. Although from the trailer, I honestly I'm mad about the trailer for Project Hail Mary. Uh, oh, hold on. One of three different colors as the galaxy photos destroyed. Okay, made all these choices, but you only get A, B, C. The enhanced ending was slightly better. um, but yeah, the trailer. I don't like the trailer of the movie because it spoils some very major plot points in the book. But honestly, with the way that that book is written, I'm not sure what they could have done to have a spoiler free trailer. Honestly, I would personally just recommend reading or listening to the book. I actually much prefer listening to this story rather than reading the story because they do a lot of things that you can't do in a book format that they do really well. Um, because the entirety of the story of Project Hail Mary is written from perspective of an amnesiac. So he's finding out things about himself and his situation as the reader is. And it's a very entertaining way, but you can't show anything in the book without it being a spoiler. So props to the for them doing a trailer at all, but I'm not happy with the things that they showed in it, but they kind of have to in order to get people to, go to this movie. Changelings prefer stability, which the Order does. They would definitely love to live as Jedi's, but not amongst the Jedi's. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, although there are certain areas, I mean, the Jedi are not perfectly emotionless. Like, granted, they can't love, so that would be kind of a bad idea. Although having Idol be a Sith Lord, because the Sith are all about harnessing emotions, is a very interesting thing that you could probably uh, pass off. So yeah, that's my headcanon. All changelings would be Sith, not because they're evil, but because the Sith code is all about harnessing your emotions to do your goal, which is exactly what the changelings do. Any hoozles. Oh gosh, I'm almost out of water again. Gosh, I hate drinking water down the wrong tube. Okay, I think every changeling would be a Jedi, but they would always follow a Sith. Okay, so they'd be more like gray Jedi's. Because, like, in the before the Jedi Order and the Sith Order, there was the Jedi, that completely different spelling than the Jedi, that they were all about being harmonious. No. Oh, so they wouldn't be great. Okay. So would they be Jedi's, but be like not Padawans of Sith, but not definitely not Padawans of Sith or team up with Sith? The Queen is allowed and encouraged to seek extremes. Okay, fair enough. Oh, I get you. I get you now. The Queen would be a Sith, but all the Lings would be Jedi. Okay, okay, I get you now. Although would the infiltrators also be Sith or more gray because they have to kind of blend in with their surroundings? Hmm, that's an interesting thought. Also, I just realized I went this entire time procrastinating because I need to figure out what egg changeling's supposed to sound like and whether or not I'm going to add a changeling filter to said changeling queen, to said egg changeling. Oh, also, here's a thought. They'd be Mandalorian. Yep, nope, that makes complete sense. I haven't watched any of The Mandalorian, but I heard it's a good show. Although I heard from a lot of people that like only watch the first two seasons. I have no idea actually honestly. Hold on. Sorry for that calming stream noise. Had to fill up my water. With water, but it's expensive. Only expensive because I have to actually go out and buy it rather than just get it from the tap, unfortunately. Um so would changelings in their natural form, should I give them a changeling chitter to them? I don't know if I did that with Haru. Oh, consistency is key. So if I did that with Haru, I'll definitely do that with Egg Changeling. But if it's not something I do, thing is I don't do it with Idol because it's told from Idol's perspective, and he wouldn't notice the chitter. This is the Nay. Actually, I didn't do it with Cersus either. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Anytime, because Idol doesn't hear the chitter, uh, it's only people who are not used to changelings hear the chittering undertones of a natural changeling. Any ling else, though, uh, anytime it's told from a different perspective and they meet a undisguised changeling, then it would be that it would be chittering. That's what I'm going with because that saves me a lot of editing. I love playing with the sound effects to hear, like, to give subtle clues. Like, one of the things I'm going to be doing for the wedding is that cadence. Once she's replaced, she'll have the changeling chitter underneath that like slight godly tone that all the alicorns have. Except it's not going to be quite the same because it's going to be a slight chitter to it to tell you, oh, this is chrysalis. Even though it's pretty obvious in the story that it's already chrysalis, it just makes it the point even more obvious. Like I did with Discord, I gave him the same effect that I gave. I gave him the same effect that I gave the alicorns, except a little bit louder because he is more powerful than any of the alicorns that we've seen. But the tone of his voice, every single line is played backwards. Like his power is so chaotic that's changing how his power is being heard by others, which Idol has been expressly like shown in an earlier chapter when he's first meeting Celestia that he can hear the power. He can actually see the power of these beings. Although I don't know if it's just because Celestia was particularly loved that night or that morning during the Summer Sun celebration, or if it's just something that he naturally sees. No, it must be because that's something that he naturally sees because Cadence is very overwhelming presence to him. I wonder why he didn't react to Discord the same way. Is he just kind of hangs out with powerful beings that he just kind of like, eh? That could be fun chitter when on Owl's perspective. Oh, 100%. We just need to get changeling perspectives, and there's something about there's something about Mary. We just got to get those in full production, right, V? Because we only have 2 vignettes, and one of them's from Topaz, who doesn't interact with any changelings while she's during her vignette. And then we have one with Circe, who's a changeling that wouldn't hear the chitter either. Or should Circe also hear the changeling chitter because she was taken out of the hive so young, so she can't recognize the changeling chitter? Although, nope, actually, no, can't do that either for that vignette because Circe also doesn't meet up with an undisguised changeling during that vignette. Hmm. Yeah, it'd be very fun, but there's no chapters that aren't from Idol's point of view. But it would be very fun to do. It would be very, very fun to do. All right, now time to figure out Eggling's. What is Eggling's voice going to sound like? We know she's a mare, so it's going to be kind of up here, or and so in the back we have. Okay, in the back we have. Let's see, who's back here? Okay, that's Topaz. I no Topaz is a little bit more forward. Who's in the back there? Um, I think Cadence is back here. Okay, so we have Cadence. We have Cadence in the very. No, Cadence is more forward. I think Shining's back here. Honestly, if Celestia was more vain, I could see her using Idol as a blueprint for finding a pony for herself. As in, she describes a pony, he transforms, she makes edits, and then they go looking for them. Although, according to Luna, all she would ask is Idol be like as tall as her. Or it would just change to look like Good Guy Sombra. Good Guy King Sombra. Is there an official name for Good Guy King Sombra? Or is he just called Good Guy King Sombra? Sombrero. Let's call him Sombrero. Let's see. So in the back, we have someone. I'll figure out who they are. And then we have Topaz. Then Moth. No. Then Cadence. Then Moth Chaser. Then Luna. Then Celestia. Is Eggmare going to be lower than Celestia? I'm suddenly remembering a fic where Nightmare Moon had to save Equestria from an insane Philly Twilight who had accidentally during her extreme entrance during her magic. Oh, interesting. Oh, poor Twilight in that timeline. You just killed God. You accidentally killed God, or depleted them of all their magic. You know, one of the coolest headcanons I heard for Generation 5 is that the reason why there's no magic in Equestria, but the sun and moon still rotate or still orbit around the Earth, is that the artifact that Celestia gives Twilight in the episode where they go on vacation, Twilight engineered a giant, like, mechanism that would allow the turning of this and automate the whole process of raising the sun and lowering the moon. And then at one point she sets Spike to guard over it. And during his, like, one of his long naps, the entire society collapses. Moth Chaser's POV was in Idle Hooves. Idle Hooves are the devil's tools, so that's covered. But Idle wasn't a. But Idle was disguised. The chitter would. The idea, I think, is that the chitter is only when they are in their base form. Because in a pony form, they wouldn't have that little chitter that would put people off. Uh, it would just be in their non-changeling form because uh, something about their mouths just subtly click together as they're talking, and it's not enough to prevent them from like speaking fluent equestrian. It's just enough that it sounds slightly off. Someone needs to write Mothy's epic adventure while she's fighting the changelings underground while being hungry the entire time. She just keeps smelling food everywhere. Still need more Rock Idol? Oh, 100% we need more of all these characters. You know what character hasn't been visited in a while? Idol. Interesting thought. Would Rock Idol like Idol, or would he uh or would any plush version of Rock Idol he would have as much aversion as our non-rockstar idol? My idea sounds like Discord needs the Discord needs a step up. Oh, that'd be funny. Just having all the side characters are getting so big that they're having crossovers with themselves. Did we just make a whole new subspecies of the fandom like Fallen Equestria did? Why is she writhing like that? She's overstimulated, my queen. Ew. Fun fact: the voice that I do for Celestia is the same voice I do for Chrysalis. It's just Celestia gets a different overlay on it because Chrysalis was made way early in the career of this book before I could do other voices. Remember, if you want to drop a link, we have a whole chat dedicated to everything said during the live stream. Live stream related chat. Go there. You can drop links. I might be able to see it if it's a meme, I can see it during stream. If it's more of a video, then I'll probably watch it after stream. Or if it's a book, it might get added to my watch laters. Yeah, but yeah, YouTube eats all links, so don't worry about that. Would it be a better huh? Would V here's something I'm going to ask you. Would it be better if Undisguised Changelings had a slight chitter to their voice that everyone else kind of writes off as an accent, and the changelings themselves don't notice, and since no one brings it up, no one knows that that's what's happening? Or should chitters only be available live stream related chat in the Discord? Yes, in the Changing of the Guard Discord. If you give any undisguised changeling a chitter, don't do it for idle. Oh, 100% don't do it for. He doesn't know it's rude. Oh, it's Twilight Ship. I think I remember that being the case. Um, I remember learning that ages ago, and I think I've just probably forgotten. But but yeah, no. My idea is that all the changelings have chitters. In It could be that all changelings have chitters in their disguised forms, especially when it's a new form that they created rather than a copy, or maybe it's especially pronounced. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe just all disguised changelings have it. Just a little to the back of it, so unnoticeable that people don't even realize it's the case. They just know something's slightly off, and then once they're in their full changeling form, then it's much more pronounced. And it's just, and they don't realize that that's a flaw in their disguise because no one wants to point it out. No pony or anything that they disguised as points it out because they don't want to be seen as rude for pointing out something someone might be having, like be sick or something along those lines. No one wants to bring up the awkward conversation in the room, so everyone just avoids it. So all these changelings have a very easy tell that they have no idea is a tell because no one talks about it. People, I want to make the mainstream radio equivalent of a film story. How do we do this? Just rewrite season 1 with your OC. Honestly, yeah, either season 1 with your OC or a seventh element with your OC. Either one's good. Uh, yeah, there were so many seventh element fics shown around. And I haven't read most of them, but I heard a lot of them were pretty good. There's this one by DJ Skywalker that did a pretty good job. Unfortunately, it's like on forever hiatus, which is sad, but oh well, 'tis the fate of a lot of great stories, except for this one. The better not. It better not be the fate of this one. I mean, Equestria Girls technically has a seventh element, empathy. Is Sunset empathy? Or is Sunset just. Well, no. Equestria Girls just has its own core, and then they sometimes swap in magic between Twilight and Sunset, it feels like. Sunset is that world's element of magic, but she wasn't ready yet, so they had to replace. They had a magic element at home, and magic element of magic at home was Twilight. All right. See you in a bit. See you in a bit. Twilight Twink, Twilight Shimmer, Twilight Shimmer, Sith. However, you are. Oh no, no, stop. Wait, stop. Come back. There we go. But yeah, that could be an interesting tell. There could be like a one-shot story written about like a chitter in the back of someone's throat. Reminds me of their plans for a final Equestria Girls, where they were going to explore where that world Sunset Shimmer is. Right? They never do that. They never explore uh, what happened to that sunset to EQG's Sunset Shimmer. They're just like, maybe they didn't even exist. Or it could be the case that that world Sunset Shimmer went to Crystal Prep and we never saw it. Or maybe just a different school entirely. They said they were, but they got canned before they could. Lots of good concepts get canned before the show. Like, I posted in the server yesterday or day before where it was revealed that there was going to be a Bat Pony Island in G6. But then it got canned. And everyone is unhappy about that. Granted, the art community is wild, so I don't blame them. What are you talking about? Absolute tragedy. I know! Like, I was so excited to see what both bat ponies looked like in this animation style, as well as changelings in this art style, or just other creatures from G5, like uh, the hippogriffs, the sea ponies, like the dragons. Well, actually, no, we did see the dragons. They were kind of a disappointment, unfortunately. But hey, we could have had Bat Pony Island, and they took it from us. It would have been like the only actual canon showing of Bat Ponies, because the only one that we have currently is from Luna Eclipsed, and they could have just been dressed up for the occasion for dramatic effect at Luna's behest. Which, honestly, I kind of want to make my personal headcanon, but at the same time, it would mean I couldn't have any bat ponies, so I choose not to. I know we've talked about that multiple times on this stream about whether or not bat ponies are canon to the show. And I'm still on the fence about that. Would I love bat ponies to be canon? Absolutely. Do we ever see them in the show outside of the Halloween episode? No. And Luna's acting all big or dramatic there anyway. So why wouldn't she go full Princess of the Night and be like, well, wait, I can't have myself be pulled by Pegasi, so we're just going to add a glamour that makes them look like bat horses. And then you never see them again because you never see Luna during Nightmare Night ever again for the rest of the show. So yeah, like bat ponies are difficult to reconcile with canon, and I would have loved to have bat ponies actually be confirmed. Yes, they do exist in canon. We have a whole island of them. They live off mangoes and whatnot. And yes, they do But unfortunately, nope. It's still pretty much headcanon whether or not they exist. Oh, man. Yeah, sad face. Or, yes, cry. Yeah, I know. I don't want it to not be true either that bat ponies exist, but I have to take canon at its face, and it doesn't seem like they do. I'm sorry, V. The horses have failed you for showing whether or not your waifus exist. But yeah, I'm but I have no son. My waifus exist, but I have no son. Yeah, your waifus go to a different school. Yep, absolutely. Oh, imagine if there was a bat pony of Vlad the Impaler. I feel like that's a stereotype. You're stereotyping bat. Actually, you know what? I take it back. The the reason it becomes a stereotype is because there was a Vlad the Impaler bat pony, and so that's how bat ponies are vampires got into the modern zeitgeist, was because there was an ancient bat pony that was a probable vampire. Vlad the Implier. There's so many different ways you could take it. Or I did see this one fic where bat ponies aren't natural. They were actually uh, they were actually creations of Luna during her before she was banished, but they were specifically regular ponies that had magics weaved into them to make them better at fighting creatures of the night. And there was different variations for earth ponies and unicorns as well. It's just we've only ever seen the bat pony versions of them. And after Luna was banished, no one could turn them back. And since they were associated with Luna, they were kind of shunned by society. So they started out as unnatural, uh, but now they're all natural born because the magics changed them so thoroughly that they became that bat ponies nowadays are actual like natural living creatures, but the original bat ponies were a creation of magic. I had this idea I was going to do where there are both natural bat ponies and bat ponies born to Pegasi after some alchemical concoction caused their children to be born batty. Cause I'm batty, lunatic under the moon. I've gone batty. Once I sink my tooth in, it'll happen to you. Da, 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 da. That's a good song. I need to listen to that. I need to add it back to my playlist. That's too good of a song for it to be in a forgotten favorite category. Although it's kind of hard to find. I don't know why. I think I still have it somewhere here. Was this idea going to be like another side quest to uh, Idol, or was it just a different story altogether, maybe possibly a one shot? Because that changes how the direction of the story might take, right? Oh, is that why Bat Pony and Thestral are a thing in your story, or is that going to be something revealed to us later down the line? That all Thestrals are Bat Ponies, but not all Bat Ponies are Thestrals? Or is it the opposite? I think it might be the opposite. um, Gosh, I still haven't figured out what voice I'm going to use for Eggmare. my my first egg. Should I give her an accent? One of my classic terrible accents being brought forth for for Eggmare, for Eggling. Perhaps. Actually, it just turns out all changelings are British. It's just Idol doesn't have an accent. Let's see. Oh, the nasty stepsisters from Cinderella. I don't know what they sound like. I haven't watched Cinderella since I was a kid. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. Hold, horse, hold, stop production. I need to find out what the sisters, um, Cinderella step sisters. Oh, right, there's a new Cinderella movie. Um, origin, original Disney movie. Hold, hold, por favor. Uh, 1950. Wow, this. Hold on. I don't know if I could imitate those. If bat ponies love mangoes, does that mean there's a bat pony of Dutch Venderland? I don't know. I've never played Red Dead Redemption 2, but probably. Let me close my recording curtain. There we go. Recording curtain firmly closed. Oh, I almost forgot to mention. I am going to be moving eventually, probably within the next year. So who knows how that'll change up everything, but hopefully it goes great. It's still in the plans. It's in the thoughts and plans. It's just looking. The only thing that can stop me now is the capital, unfortunately. So we're going to just try and get that situated, and hopefully by next spring I'll be in a new place. What are you, pensive? You've been tricking us all along. It is I. It was me, Dio. Yeah. No, I guess the goats, the cat's out of the goat bag or the goat's out of the cat bag. However that saying goes. Yeah, I've been pensive this whole entire time. Newsflash, asshole! I was pensive the entire goddamn time, and I have been playing myself this whole time. No one knows this. This is the secret fourth pensive account. But yes, no, it is planned stages. Plus, I haven't moved that often. This is only my third. Yeah, this would only be my fourth move since I started streaming. I've never moved house. My family's been living here since the late 1950s. Yeah, fair. But like, originally lived at my folks' house. Then I moved to live in with my sister because my folks' house was getting cramped because my brother was living there with his wife and their daughter. So that was getting a little bit cramped for me. So I moved in with my sister. We hung out. We actually hang out so great. I would love to live with her again. Except the house that we lived in was like only 850 square feet, give or take. Just not enough room for two adults, especially only with only one bathroom. That I think that's the thing that made it the worst. And then I moved into my own place, which I think is where I started these streams. I can't remember if I started these streams before I moved to that new apartment or or after. No, actually it must have been after because I didn't have my recording cave until after I moved into there. Yeah, no. I started streaming in my first apartment and then that got a little bit too expensive for for one person working for working a ton and taking a pay cut to go up to manager. Ugh, terrible decision, honestly. And now those apartments are going, or now that one bedroom apartment's going for $1,500. Whew, gosh, glad I got out of there. And then I moved in with my then coworker, then boss, and now just roommate at their old place. Then that place got renovated, and the apartment complex couldn't move us to within the same complex, so we had to move house. So now we're in a townhouse, at actually pretty close to near where we were. And then this new move is going to be moving onto my sister's land because she just has a patch of land she has no idea what to do with. And she's just kind of offered it up to the whole family of like, hey, if someone wants to build something to live here, have at it. I already have the permits all sorted with the cities. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I just need to uh, improve my credit score so that way I can get the bank on my side so that way I can get a loan to buy a new house or not to buy a new house but to buy a place to put there and also figure out how to make it either contract out how to make a concrete pad or hire someone to make a concrete pad. I think I will hire someone to make a concrete pad because I've never done it before, and I remember last time my family did it, and it was a lot of work, and I don't have a lot of money, a lot of time, or a lot of money. That's why it's still in the planning stages. But the hope is by next spring. So I'll let you know, and you might hear how completely different this space sounds, or not. Who knows? I might be that good at mimicking. I could be in a new place right now, and you would never know. I'm not, but I could be. Any hoozles. The voices of the Wicked Stepsisters in 1950 Cinderella sounds too close to Topaz. So I'm not sure what to do with that. Um, hmm. And I guess I could shove them in the back there where I don't know if someone else lives there. But since I can't find anyone else that lives there, they can take over. Um, maybe with a slight accent. Actually, no. Does Honeydew live back there? Hold on. Honeydew, can you come? Can you come over? Oh yeah, sugar. Oh, okay. So Honeydew is lower register. Thanks, Labio. No problem. All right. So it's been a while since we heard Honeydew on stream, hasn't it? So if this honestly, this is what happens if anyone's new to stream, this is what happens anytime I have to create a new character. Is I spend the entire stream figuring out how to voice the character, and then it goes so long that I run out of time. Then I have to pick it up next week, and I can't remember what voice I decided for them. So it's just a terrible cycle. Welcome back, Seth. So let's see. If I shove her in up back there, I wanted a larvae, but the queen deemed me unsuitable. Let's see. Let's see. My first egg was deemed unsatisfactory and chosen not to hatch. I was told to choose a different sire and try again. Again, I was deemed unsatisfactory and told not to bother seeking a different sire. Such proof my third would be found by hiding it. How about Alex Vance voices from Half-Life 2 for eggs? um, Maybe. I don't know how she sounds, though. I sought to prove my third would be fine by hiding it. Just give her a strong English accent. Maybe it's Cockney. No, it's definitely not Cockney. I don't want to bring in specific dialects into here. My first egg was deemed unsatisfactory and chosen not to hatch. I was told to choose a different sire and try again. And again I was deemed unsatisfactory and told not to bother seeking a different sire. I sought to prove my third would be fine by hiding it. Gosh, no, I can't do that. I know Eggmare is like barely in this book, but I can't keep an accent on track for like 2 paragraphs. She needs more venom. I know she needs more venom. I'm just trying out a voice. I'm trying it on for size, and I'm not sure if I can have the venom needed for this character. My first take was deemed. How do you do venom? How does one do venom in their voice? My first my first egg was deemed unsatisfactory and chosen not to hatch. I was told to choose a different sire and try again, and again I was deemed unsatisfactory and told not to bother seeking a different sire. I sought to prove my third would be fine by hiding it. I'll find a video. Thank you. Although I'll probably just watch that after stream because we're actually nearing time already. We didn't, again, for the second week in a row, we didn't finish a single thing. No, this is not how it's meant to be. If you do find a video and send it to me, I would very much appreciate it. And I will try again next week. I just realized there's a cookie on my desk from Easter. It's one of those Toll House cookies. Not Toll House. Loft House? Let me... Loft House cookies. Yeah, Loft House cookie. It's a Loft House cookie I got for Easter. Do I dare eat it? Do I dare eat a Loft House cookie that came from Easter? Like, it looks fine. Doesn't have a weird smell to it, but I'm afraid. Spitspot. Mary Poppin voice. Pour a spoonful of sugar. It's gosh, that's when you know I'm running out of water, is when my voice starts cracking like that. Gosh, it's been so long since I watched Mary Poppins that all I can think about is the guy is Bert. I know who that is. Mary Poppins. Spit spot, and off we go. Pour a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Yeah, there's so many classic movies I need to watch again because it's just been way too long, and they're classics for a reason. Anyway, I guess I will try and see if I can find some way to give Eggmare justice, even though I think she's only in this one chapter, maybe another chapter, and then we never see her again. But it's been over 2 hours. I've reached time, so I shall see y'all next time. Hopefully next week. That is always the plan. Eggling. Sorry, not Eggmare. I keep mispronouncing her name. Eggling. The changeling obsessed with eggs. Give her Eggman's personality. You what? Gosh. Actually, no, I shouldn't give her Eggman's personality because I haven't watched I haven't watched any of the Sonic movies. So my only basis for Eggman is the old Sonic cartoons. And that is a completely different vibe from what I've heard. But anyway, I shall talk to y'all later. Y'all have a great. Do you have Roku? Do I have Roku? Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have a Roku. Yes, I don't use it too much because I just don't have a lot of time. So I typically never watch TV. So yeah, that's a thing that I'm trying to work on, but it's probably never going to happen. So oh well. I guess it's kind of good not to have time to watch TV. I just listen to it all the time. The first movie is there. Is Roku now a streaming service? Because I only know them for their Roku boxes that allow you to connect to other streaming services. If it is a streaming service now, I don't have that. If Roku just happens to have free movies on there, heck yeah, I'll check it out. But if it's another streaming service, then no, I don't have it. Roku has its own free TV and many apps. Like, yeah, no, I use like all the apps like YouTube and Dropout, and that's about it because that's all the streaming services I have. I mean, I have Netflix because I steal my brother's and also his bunch of his other stuff. I might have to steal my sister's Apple TV because I really kind of want to watch Murderbot. That's been making the rounds on YouTube Shorts, and it looks very interesting. But yeah, I will definitely have to check that out. I only, funny enough, I have the third Sonic movie. I don't have any of the other ones, so I haven't watched it. I just own it for when I eventually do watch the first two. But anyway, I shall see y'all next week, and we will try and get Eggmare the justice she deserves. I definitely can't do a Marge Simpson voice. That's way too gravelly for me. I will. I'll have a thunk on it later this week, uh, and hopefully by the time next week comes around, I will have a voice picked out for her. But I shall. May, yeah, yes, and to you as well. Have a great rest of your weekend and take care. Bye.